Hello, my name is Charlie Haffey, and the title of today's show is An Introduction to Google Drive. Google Drive was launched in 2012. And when it first came out, I was really hesitant about getting involved with it. I had always been a Microsoft Office kind of guy, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. But my school system was changing over to it, so I had to go with it. So I tried to get ahead of it. And I got to tell you, there are advantages and disadvantages for using the Google Drive environment. And for the most of us, most of the time, it's a pretty good option to use. It was initially considered to be a cloud-based file storage, but really it is a lot more. So let me take you on a quick tour of the Google Drive user interface. I've opened up my Google Chrome browser and I've set my homepage to google.com. And I know I'm logged in because up here in the right-hand corner, I see a little picture of me. And on this computer, which is my home computer, I always leave myself logged on. So if you have logged on, then you'll see your avatar up here or your picture. If you haven't, click the icon and you can just sign in. So there's a couple of ways of getting to my Google Drive. One is I can come over here to the Rubik's Cube or the Waffle. It's really called the Google App Launcher. If I click on that, here are a variety of the apps that are available to me right now. And if I just scroll down, I've got more. I'm going to click on here, and that will fire up my Google Drive for me. Just so you know, if you need to, you could just click on an icon and you can move them around. I like Drive, Mail, and Calendar right at the top here. A second way of getting to your Google Drive folder is to just type it in drive.google.com. This is populating for me. I'm going to hit return. And here I have my home page for Google Drive or the Google Drive user interface. And if I come over here to new and I click on new, left click on new, I get these options. I can create another folder. I can upload a file or a folder. That is the subject for a different video. We'll get to that. If I'd like to create a doc, I can come over here. The arrow leads me to a menu where I can do a blank document or create one from a template. Same thing for sheets, slides. If I come down here, I get more options, and Forms is the last app that I have that will allow me to have a blank form or create something from a template. So let me click out of that. I don't like the way this reverts sometimes. I don't like having this in alphabetical order, all my folders. So what I'm going to do is come over here and I have last opened by me. So this means that the most recent folders are going to be at the top, and usually that's where I want to be. So here I am, and if I left click on contracting, for example, this icon here will allow me to get a shareable link. And this icon will allow me to share that folder with other people. Now, the sharing with other people and grabbing a link, that is going to be covered in a separate video on sharing. If you want to get rid of it, you can just go over here to the trash can and remove it. These three icons right here are more actions. If I left click on those, I get open with, move to. These are all options that I have within my drive. So I'm going to keep that selected. And I could, if I needed to, come over here to details. If I click on that, it's going to give me the activity and the content details of all the things that I have selected. I could, if I needed to, I could open up another app up here. And here is the cog or the gear that is pretty universal for the settings. So if you click on that, it'll bring you into the settings and keyboard shortcuts. We'll be doing that later on for file uploads. And here is a pretty ineffective help option. I always just get out of Google Drive and I open a new tab. I go to my Chrome browser, Google, and I do my searching from there. If you come over here to the folder or file that you've selected and you right-click on it, you get more of those options. Everything pretty much is all wrapped up into one here. That's pretty good. So let me just click off here. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If I come over here, and right now I'm in my drive, okay? So if I come here to go to new, and I go to Google Docs, and I just say I make a new document, and I want to title this something really clever. Let me just show you all the menus here. So there's two ways of doing it. You could either just click right up on here and title the document up there. Let me just click back down here. And I'm just going to call this an agenda. Now that I have that done, if I click on here, it's going to take the first line that I have here and put it in the title. That's just a nice little shortcut. And here is something that you should notice. This little folder here tells you that this document agenda is going to be stored in my drive. And when I first started using Google Drive, I didn't like this all changes saved like automatically, but I've really come to like that a lot. And there's ways of getting around that. When we get to version history, we'll talk about that. The problem with this is, if I go back to my Google Drive, right, where is my agenda? The problem is that you have My Drive, and the My Drive is first populated with all the folders that you have, and then after the folders come any stray documents that you might have done. So here I have agenda, and it's way out there below all the folders. Really, this is no man's land. These are all stray files that I've used over the years. I've not moved them out pretty much because I didn't really need them, so I just left them out there. So let me show you how to really do this. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go back up. Let's go to my drive. Let's go to the top. And let's go to contracting. No, let's just make a new folder here. Okay, new folder. So I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this one testing. And it percolates right to the top of my list because this was the most recently opened by me. Now, one thing that you can do is you can right-click on this, and you can change the color. I don't do this, but there are times when I think it would be handy. So I'm going to make testing in red. Then I'm going to open up the testing folder, and you can tell that you're in the testing folder because I got My Drive and then testing. So here would be the contents of that testing folder. And you could either add another folder, or here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new doc. And let's just say that we're going to call this something really fancy like testing schedule. And now that it's saved, I can click up here, testing schedule. And the key here is you'll notice that the testing schedule is in the folder called testing. This is going to be very important when we do the instruction on searches. If you keep your files organized, this is really a very, very, very efficient way to do it. Folders, inside of folders that contain all your documents on the most internal folder. So let me go back here to, there's testing schedule. Here's My Drive. One other thing that we'll talk about later when we share is documents that are shared with you. When a document is shared with you, it is never going to be in My Drive. It's going to be outside My Drive in a place called Shared With Me. So let me just click on this. And here are all of the files that have been shared with me over periods of time. And if you need to, you can, I'm going to show you later, how to move this into your Google Drive. And you can just move those files into the folder of your choosing. That was the shortest, briefest, most basic introduction to the Google Drive user interface. If you want to get good at this, you have to use it, you have to practice. Ask a coworker for help or go online. Google a question, you'll get an answer. Me, I go to YouTube. I like the YouTube videos. I'm a visual kind of learner. I'd like you to watch my other Google Drive videos, particularly the one about searching inside of Google Drive, sharing files, and uploading files. My name is Charlie Haffey. Thanks for watching.